welcome to ILTV's Evening Update. I'm Natasha Kirchuk here with the latest news from Israel. A Canadian judge has ordered Iran's non-diplomatic land and bank accounts in Canada to be handed over to the victims of Iranian-sponsored attacks by Hamas and Hezbollah. $13 million will be awarded to the families of American victims who died in 8 terror attacks across Israel, Argentina, Lebanon, and Saudi Arabia from 1983 to 2002. Hundreds of people died in the attacks, and the US court found that Iran was responsible for training the Hamas and Hezbollah operatives who carried them out. Canada's ruling to divert Iranian assets to the victims' families comes despite the fact that the Canadian Prime Minister is just seeking to re-establish diplomatic ties with Iran. The editorial board of the New York Post has published a blistering op-ed piece slamming the Palestinian Authority for its likely future payments to the terrorists responsible for the Sarona terror attack. The article details how the 2 gunmen now automatically qualify to be added to the PA's monthly payroll, in accordance with the right enshrined in Article 22.2 of the Constitution, which is known as a Basic Law of Palestine. According to the law, all surviving terrorists can collect checks from the Ramallah government, and so can the family members of Palestinian, quote, martyrs who die while committing acts of violence against Israelis. The New York Post editorial also slammed the PA for frequently naming public squares and schools after terrorists. You'll want to make sure you're drinking enough water after you hear this tragic story. An American teenager passed away from dehydration this weekend after collapsing during a hike in the Israeli desert. 16-year-old Maya Shoulder was traveling with a tourist group of teenagers traveling in Israel. She was evacuated by an Israeli Air Force helicopter to Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba, where she was later pronounced dead. A medical report says the group had an insufficient amount of water with them during their hike in the Negev amid a heat wave. The right-wing Italian newspaper Il Giornale has sparked both shock and condemnation for giving away free copies of Adolf Hitler's anti-Semitic manifesto Mein Kampf. The conservative newspaper is owned by the brother of former Premier Silvio Berlusconi, and the tabloid claims it's trying to educate its readers against the toxicity of National Socialism. Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has been quick to denounce the initiative, calling it a vile insult to the Italian Jewish community. There are 30,000 Jews living in Italy, and the community is one of the oldest in Europe. That's all for now. Stay tuned on ILTV.tv for our main daily broadcast playing after this. I'm Natasha Kirchuk, and see you tomorrow with our morning briefing from Israel at 8 a.m. Eastern Time.